jump right into it. We got some great content here to get into. Richard Alexander, attorney Richard Alexander here in studio. Talking about attorneys when they get disciplined, there's a lot of stringent rules and laws, and the bar's going to come down on you sometimes, right? If you're not doing the right thing, and especially protecting the consumer.
Yeah, and we attorneys, sometimes it's going to happen. The Florida bar, we all. I tell people all the time, we all have a boss, even if we're solos. And that's the Florida bar, because they hold our license.
Absolutely.
That allows us to practice law, because advising somebody on a legal issue, is illegal.
Yeah.
Because you need a license. Just same thing as practicing medicine. And every month we get the attorney disciplines. All attorneys that have been all in the state of Florida have been disciplined by the Florida bar. You can get a public reprimand, which is literally what it says. They will issue a public statement and put it in your permanent file that you've had to do something like take an ethics course.
Wait, where does that go? Are they posting that online?
It goes on the website, because every member of the Florida Bar has to be listed in the floridabar.com.
Wow. And
it will literally go right on your website.
Wow.
Why you've been reprimanded.
And I imagine our good friend Google's going to pull that up. If you throw a name into Google, that's probably going to be somewhere at the top.
Well, you know what they say, the internet's forever.
Oh, absolutely.
So, they're not kidding.
Yeah.
And, they can get suspended. Or the license can be, literally revoked, or you can be, permanently disbanded, from the Florida Bar.
Yeah.
So, they're very serious consequences when you consider the amount of work someone puts in to become an attorney.
Yeah. Speak to that, too, man. Kind of flip. I want to make one comment, and then I want to flip to that side. In real estate, we see it, too, man. There's good, better, and best. I always say there's good, better, and best in every industry. And unfortunately, you have the situations where there's unscrupulous dealers out there. There's all types of schemes I've seen in real estate where they're showing, the older client. They're showing the, comps that may not necessarily be comps to justify value. And by the way, they're friends and investor, so you see how that happens, right? So there's all these scenarios where people, when they're in a fiduciary capacity, and there's none higher than a personal attorney, especially if you're dealing with, being sued or personal injury sued, or one of those scenarios where some of the things that you come into play. But so it happens in different industries. And then, so it's interesting.
You said the one word that is key, which is fiduciary.
Yes.
Which means you must always look out to the other person's best interest, including to your detriment. Mm-hmm. And, that's key, because not a lot of people can do that.
Yeah, because I make more commission if I sell this type of thing or that type of thing.
Right. And, lawyers get in trouble for either one of two things, and this is a high majority of reasons why the Florida Bar gets involved. Mm-hmm. Number one, you like to play fast and loose with the money. And that's a big problem, especially a trust account, because once money goes in the trust account, it's not your money, meaning the attorney's money yet.
Right.
If it goes into trust, that literally is what it means, trust for the client.
Yeah.
And lawyers sometimes, again, one or two reasons. Lawyers sometimes, don't turn over all the money they're supposed to turn over.
Wow. And it's just an error, just a mistake, right?
Or they use a lot of that money to pay off bills, or to, just stop the fact that they're way in over their head already. So they kind of use that to get caught up.
Would that be considered co-mingling funds as well?
Co-mingling is a classic example of why the Florida Bar gets involved.
Yeah.
You cannot co-mingle money.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And trust accounts are sacred. And the Florida Bar, they do audits all the time. Show us your books when it comes to trust accounts.
Yeah, that's why property management, we stay away from it. Matter of fact, Keller Williams Corporate, Keller Williams, #1 real estate company in the world, 180,000 plus agent sales associates. They, as a company, I think it's as a company, but I know at least our brokerage that handles 36 in the South Florida, all of South Florida, 36 Keller Williams, the South Florida region, they say no property management, because when you're taking money, giving it to the tenant, giving it to the landlord, you're dealing that you're opening yourself up to a lot of legalities.
Well, I happen to know a little bit about Keller Williams, and I know they have this extensive checklist.
Yeah.
When it comes to, getting involved with clients, as far as buyers or sellers.
Right.
And if one of those boxes is unchecked, I know Keller Williams KW will say, make sure this box is checked, or we don't have a we don't have a done deal.
Yeah, number one in education, training,
Absolutely.
marketing, of course.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so it's a big point. And then I wanted to ask you as well. Let's get to the texting law before the break. But then I also want to ask you a little bit of detail about getting into law. And I know you're passionate about education. You also teach as an educator.
Yeah, well, let me follow up with the second reason
Yes,
why
please.
people get disciplined is because you failed to respond to the Florida Bar's inquiry.
Ah,
Because they send you letters and you ignore them.
what? Wow, that's
Let me tell
What
you
do you
how.
say?
Personally, I think that's so stupid.
Yes.
Because you're ignoring the one entity that holds your license to practice law.
Yeah,
It doesn't make any
those
sense.
those got to be situations where somebody has the cancer, death, major issue, something along those lines, but still ignoring it.
Just ignoring it.
Yeah. There's a lot more behind that story whenever that's the situation. Texting law. Tell us about it. If you're driving now, by the way, if you just joined us, Brandon Brimes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're talking with Richard Alexander, attorney Richard Alexander, Alexander Law, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, texting and driving.
January 1st, 2020 just went into effect. And, what law enforcement did, local agencies, they put us on notice. They said, listen, we may pull you over in the month of October, November, December, but we're going to give you a warning.
Yes.
We're going to start issuing tickets come the beginning of the new year. So now it's a primary offense, which means they can pull you over just for that. And if it's in a construction zone or a school zone, you cannot have your phone on you at all.
Wow.
So now we have the texting and driving, which is a primary offense. And these are moving violations, so get ready for those 3 points.
Wow.
And then you know who else is going to get involved. Which your insurance company finds out about that.
Yeah.
Because insurance companies are in the business for profit.
Yeah,
Don't
absolutely.
let anybody ever tell you otherwise. Insurance companies, their profits, not revenue, but their profits are in the billions.
Yeah.
So they never feel sorry for insurance
Speaking of that, I
companies.
just saw that old movie with, I think it was Matt Damon, the attorney? He was a young attorney working, and it had Danny DeVito in it.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah,
classic Grisham novel.
Right, yeah.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, and Danny DeVito going into hospitals and picking up clients, which is an automatic disbarment.
Yeah, exactly. Great character though, funny back in the day, and interesting movie. But insurance companies are in business to make money. They love to take the payment every month.
Sure,
but
they
then,
will.
But then it hassles. Oh well, what about this? Was it the rising water that caused the event, or was it the rain that caused the event? Was it the wind? Looking for ways to get out of paying claims in a lot of cases.
Yeah, like that woman, where the alligator broke into her home.
Yeah.
It went viral, and the insurance company denied her claim.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, how about that?
Unbelievable. Yeah, because it didn't specifically say an alligator coming into the house.
I don't know what happened, but
Right.
I don't know how that's her fault. But
Exactly.
oh well.
Yeah, it's an event that could be catastrophic event. How do you look at that, right? So,
Right.
And that's what they say. But hey, good stuff. More from Richard Alexander here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stay with us. I want to go back to attorney Richard Alexander. And when you see kind of a tie-in here, I'm thinking there's a tie-in along the personal injury lines. People get injured, they need palliative care. Am I saying the right one,
They'll
Allison?
probably need home health care
Home
if they
health.
get that injury and they get that surgery, and then they need someone to come help them in the home.
Some home health care. So you're working on personal injury law as well, Richard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We do a lot of that actually. That's predominantly what we do the most of.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you look at, that there's a couple tie-ins there. What else? So we were talking about the texting law. That's, the phone's in the hand. Now it's a primary offense. Now that's opening up to, they might have something else in their car.
Well, again, that's the one thing I always worry about is Fourth Amendment issues because, yes, now that it is a primary offense and law enforcement approaches the vehicle and can they develop probable cause for anything else.
Yeah.
And, what it's going to do is turn the Fourth Amendment on its head in certain instances because, let's just say with the medical marijuana card, we've talked about that before. We don't have personal consumption laws in the state of Florida, but we do have medical marijuana. Is that probable cause to get into the vehicle? Because you say, wait a minute, I'm legal. I have a medical marijuana card, but yet
Right.
the smell of marijuana is so unique
Right.
that, every cop, in the world knows what it smells like.
Right.
So is that enough to get you out of the vehicle?
Yeah.
And then can you perform a search on the vehicle?
Right.
Even though you're legally allowed to carry, medical marijuana.
Right.
And it may smell, you may have it on your clothes. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yep.
It's not the issue. The issue is that what else, the Pandora's box, the slippery
Exactly.
slope.
Yeah.
What else does that open us up to?
Yeah.
So yeah, I see texting and driving being the same kind of animal.
Wow.
You know,
And it's to the point where something needs to happen. Wasn't there another law changed too about the e-cigarettes went up to 21?
it's a federal law. Yes,
Federal law, 21
yeah.
years old. I got to say that's probably a good idea. I mean, a lot of these kids are, they're getting lured in by the banana, blueberry, and all these different things. Try this flavor,
Listen,
and they don't realize the health ramifications.
Yeah, the tobacco industry is fierce. You know that.
Yep.
It's all about turning the money, and they did a great job, quote unquote, of luring. The 18-year-olds, the 19-year-olds, the 20-year-olds to start doing vaping.
Yep.
Which has become quite attractive to that crowd.
Yes.
And finally, especially, there's a bullseye right now on Juul and all of those other similar companies when it comes to vaping. And finally, the federal government says, that's it, we've had enough.
Yeah.
21.
Yeah.
Done.
Right.
And the flavor ones, actually, I think they're going to do away with the flavor. The different kind of, strawberry, and like you just mentioned a couple of those. I think the federal government's going to say, nope, that's it. We're not going to have any more flavor ones now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, they have a bullseye on
But it's so
their back.
enticing for those kids. They're like, strawberry, banana, this one, that. It's like, man, I don't smoke. That sounds good. Like, what? That flavor?
It's funny you mentioned that, Brandon, because I've been asking a lot of people at the 7-Eleven. I said, what's been the feedback? What's been the pushback when 19 and 20-year-olds said, what do you mean I can't buy it?
Exactly.
I bought it in December. Why can't I buy it now?
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
it's no longer legal for me to sell it to you.
Yeah. Now they start caring about government. They start wondering about civics, and they start listening to politics. Because that group is probably largely withdrawn, right? I mean, unless they're real activists in certain areas. But that's called how rules can change, how laws can change, how amendments can happen. And
how about that?
How about that, right? TrustAlexanderLaw.com. TrustAlexanderLaw.com. Attorney Richard Alexander. All right, when we come back, more from our expert contributors. All right, here we go. Top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom. Allison, let us know what you got.
That we're here to help you from home health, palliative care, all the way to the hospice. Absolutely. We're your partner in this process of aging gracefully in your home.
That's right. And Gulfside.org. Gulfside.org is the website. Attorney Richard Alexander.
Well, 2020 is a presidential election year, and on the Florida ballot this year, we'll be able to decide whether or not we want to raise the Florida minimum wage to $15 by the year of 2026. So I'm just telling everybody, as an educator and as an attorney, for God's sakes, vote, but make sure you know exactly what you're voting for.
Yeah.
I have an opinion, but that's not the point. The point is become educated before you decide to cast that ballot.
Yeah. Get out there and vote, and make sure you understand the ballot. There's a lot to be said about understanding the ballot. It's like they throw in these double negatives, and tell us about that. How can we be more diligent about understanding the ballot?
Well, yeah, that's the point. It's generally written by lawyers, and the lawyers speak, and that's part of the problem. But the last time this happened, not only did Hillsborough County residents raise taxes on ourselves once, we did it twice.
Wow.
On the same ballot.
Wow.
The penny and then the half penny.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean, is just become educated regardless of how you vote. I'm a big proponent of voting, but just please get educated on the issues before you go in there.
Yeah, exactly. Aaron Barish, Director of Thrift Shops, Gulfside Healthcare Services.
Yes.
Top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom.
Well, like I said, it just goes back to, our whole, motto is shop, volunteer, donate. We love for you to shop with us because you're helping support the mission. Donating, everything is, what's old is new again, and volunteering, you're giving back more than you ever will know by helping out.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, good stuff there. I like that. Lots of great ideas on the show and ways that you can get involved. And I'll take a little while here and just kind of mention about marketing. I talk to a lot of business owners out there, a lot of realtors, and I wanted to discuss the status is like, we're in 2020 now. There's ways that you could market, and it's free. It's called a cell phone. Okay, it's called an iPhone. You pick it up, you open up an app called Facebook, and you hit the live button, which actually means live, right? And you hit live, and you talk about your business. You talk about your houses that you're selling. You talk about your service, your volunteers that you need. You talk about all the different things that you want to talk about, and you know what's amazing is it's free, and a lot of people will pick it up. A lot of people will see it, and they'll enjoy the content, and they'll like the content, and they'll know that you are a local expert in your area. And so there's ways that we can do it. I think so many times business owners, salespeople, we overcomplicate things, and we overanalyze, and it's like, and we have this fear of being on camera sometimes. Open up the phone, say what you want to say. Instagram, LinkedIn, you can do videos, and if videos aren't your thing, do the written word. Get good at blogging, get good at putting your message out, and people are going to resonate. People want to have your services. Look at a lot of ways that you can grow your business, grow your sphere, grow your celebrity through free apps that we have, and create emojis or however you want to do it. Richard, by the way, you do a great job with that on your pages. I love the content you put out.
That's my third job.
Yeah, exactly. We all have that extra job, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. Hey, another great show. I want to thank our expert contributors, our producers, our team behind the scenes putting it on. And we want to remind you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.